Olympics, Brisbane's 4BC.
In the US state of Utah, because the laws have passed and will come into effect in October. So later this hour, I'm going to replay you that interview with Representative Jordan Tusher, and you'll be blown away with the advice he's given our top lawmakers. And Shane Bowring will join me for local issues today. Shane is Australia's answer to Mythbusters. Plus, Sam Leckie will cover the sport. But remember, it is you I want to hear from. 133 882, the open line number. Or you can send me a text on 0499 880 882. Or email me at weekends at 4bc.com.au. It's 9:30 after 9.
No shit, gang.
Get stuck in.
With traffic every 10 minutes, breaking news and opinions that matter. 4BC is Brisbane.
Well, let's begin overseas, and it's the biggest story in the world. Of course, I'm referring to Donald J. Trump. And I'll use snippets from Adam Crichton's piece in the Australian this morning. It's brilliantly written, and I think it sums up the situation perfectly. It reads, in a move that has plunged and divided the US into more uncertainty, the Republican nominee for president on Friday was convicted by a Manhattan jury on 30 felony charges and
got to send it in the consider of the car, but obviously because I'm on the right hand side.
After a 6-week trial, Mr. Trump was handed a guilty verdict on all 34 charges after about 10 hours of deliberations, leaving Judge Juan Merchant, who is the former president, has repeatedly accused of bias.
Just thought I'd do it like this on the way to the track, and then if it's still on, I'll just
falsifying documents
do a normal stream.
In relation to the payment of US $130,000 to former porn star Stormy Daniels in the lead up to the 2006 presidential election via his former private lawyer, Michael Cohen, in order to buy her silence so the news wouldn't affect the election campaign. This was Donald Trump outside court yesterday.
This was a disgrace. This was a rigged trial by a conflicted judge who was corrupt.
Rigged.
This was a rigged trial, a disgrace. They wouldn't give us a menu change. We were at 5% or 6% in this district, in this area. This was a rigged, disgraceful trial. And the real verdict is going to be November 5th by the people. And they know what
Please
happened
like
here.
and subscribe.
Everybody knows what happened here. We have a
Give me all your money. So hold up, chat.
And the whole
So stick
thing,
up.
we didn't do a thing wrong.
Empty your pockets.
I'm a very innocent man.
Give me your wallets and your chains and your
It's okay. I'm fighting for our country.
iPhones,
I'm fighting for our Constitution.
Androids.
Oh, big rig right now. This was done by the Biden administration in order to wound or hurt an opponent, a political opponent. And I think it's just a disgrace. And we'll keep fighting. We'll fight till the end and we'll win.
We'll fight for the hookers,
Gone to hell.
porno
We're not
stars.
the same country anymore. We have a divided mess. We're a nation in decline, serious decline. Millions and millions of people pouring into our country right now, from prisons and from
Got my headlights on.
And they're taking
I usually have daylight driving lights, but I've got my headlights on. It's because it's so overcast.
But this is a rigged decision right from day one.
Well, the weather said
Conflicted judge, we should have never
cloudy all day out where I'm going.
And we will fight for our
With showers or storms around 4 p.m.
So what started as
And the event was supposed to
itself then
finish at 4
into a
p.m.
bit
So
of a political speech
it all depends how, if they're just sprinkles or whatever, or it's up to track officials, obviously. It'll be the first time the track's actually been open.
Unfortunately, that is why Donald Trump is so convincing. He resonates with voters. His me against the system mentality is very popular amongst
So
the
we'll see.
average American.
It's on tomorrow too, and it's on next
Mr. Trump will
weekend.
discover on
It's on
July
for actually
11
4 days, I think, next
if he
weekend.
will be forced
The
to
actual
spend
winter
time in
nationals.
jail. Just 4 days before the Republicans are
So,
set
like
to
top
gather
fuelers
in
and all
a
that sort of
crucial
stuff.
battleground
Big-
state
big
of
cars.
Wisconsin for their national convention.
They've
and
been
then
doing up the
anoint
track for
him
the last
as their
6 months
nominee
since I've been
president.
filming. That's
Now,
why I haven't
let's
been
be
out there.
brutally honest, it's extremely
Got
unlikely
nothing else to
that
do. I'll go
Donald
out and
Trump
have a
will be
look.
sent to jail.
Anyway.
He will likely face an enormous fine, but it wouldn't matter because in America, you can run for president from behind bars or with a criminal conviction. That really does sum up America, doesn't it? But don't be fooled. We know Donald Trump. This will play perfectly into Donald Trump's hands. I made some comments on Afternoons yesterday
Right.
with Sophie Formica.
Criminal
that
president.
Okay, sure, Donald Trump is annoyed that he lost because he hates losing.
It's pre-publicity, good
Will
or
this
bad,
hurt
isn't it,
his
really?
presidential run? Not at all. If anything, it's a huge boost. Hear me out. Because unlike
Hear me
Australia,
roar.
where voting is compulsory, Americans, well, they have the
Been
choice.
going through yellow line.
So I feel that this will prompt Trump supporters
Yellow,
to come
yellow,
forward and vote
line.
because, again, it's the
Yellow.
me against the system mentality that resonates so well with voters. That's what won him the election against Hillary Clinton in the first place. Also,
Yeah, that's what they reckon,
he will
eh?
appeal the sentence, which means
I'll just be
there is
patient. I'll wait at the
unlikely
back
to be a
here.
sentence handed down before the October
I'll let
election.
the little Mazda go. Little
But what
go-kart.
does it
Me
mean for our
35.
relationship with America here in Australia? Well, very little. If Trump is re-elected, I think the only person that will struggle will be Kevin Rudd. He'll
I
get
hosed
in
the
some
car off
strife.
before I went.
Besides that, I think
I
we'll
drove
be
up to
pretty
the
good.
Sunshine Coast
Because
last
remember,
night.
the PM said
It's about 3
already
hours drive return, or it depends on the traffic
that
conditions.
he would work with whoever
Better to
was
go up
elected,
during the day.
but did say that he got along very
Better
well
view.
with Mr. Biden. This is what he said. I obviously have people.
But I
that
think
might
the Gold
have
Coast
observed- so he said,
beaches
I
are better,
obviously
and go
have-
and keep going
and
down
people
past the
might
Gold
have
Coast
observed
over
a
the
close
border.
relationship with President
A
Biden.
little
He
bit
said
better.
we get along
Hey,
very
Kathy.
well, but the relationship between
Welcome.
Australia and the United States
Hey, Zorp.
is a relationship between nations, not just between individuals.
Sir.
Mr.
Zorp.
Trump's conviction is a matter for the United States. So, at the end of the day, watch this space, but it really won't mean anything. The Australian Prime Minister will work with whoever is elected in the US.
Doesn't matter what you do with a phone mount,
But
you
again,
can't get
it's
the
interesting.
phone mount out of
Watch
the
this
frame.
space. Well, Taylor Fellows has this exclusive in today's Courier Mail, and it's splashed across the front pages. It reads,
Saturday morning.
The Air Train. Travellers heading to
Not too much
Brisbane
traffic
Airport
compared to
on
peak
the
hour.
Air Train will
On a
receive
normal
a
weekday.
50% ticket discount for 6 months from August as part of the government's latest pre-election cost of living push. Under a new deal cut between the government and air train
Seems to be a lot
operators,
steadier.
tickets for services between Central Station and Brisbane Airport will cost just $10.95 instead of $21.90.
What a
With
bargain.
worker prices cut down from $43 to $21.50 for weekly tickets. But the short-term fix does not unpick the sluggish 35-year contract, which is being criticised for giving travellers a raw deal. Grave fears remain how the route will service the 2032 games. So there's a 35-year contract in place at the moment, and I'll get into that in just a moment. But once again, the Labor Party has targeted travelling ahead of its election.
Pump the tyres full of air before I
It's good
left.
politics in the short
We've got all
term, but
this
the long
traffic to
term,
wait for.
it may come back to bite them. Because it's exactly that. It's a short-term
Drive
solution.
these roads often enough, you know stuff like
It's
that's
just
gonna
like the
happen.
50-cent fares. At some stage, the price will return to full
Got
freight.
to do this to get on the highway.
So again, a short-term solution. And just on that, if I were a public
Double
transport
clutch
user,
cars,
which
you're not
I'm
supposed to
I
creep
very
forward
rarely I use
too
it. I might
much.
get the ferry every now and then, or maybe a train.
It's gonna,
I would see straight
Gonna
through
stop,
the
you're gonna
spin
stop.
because how long have all of you been calling for transport costs to come down? And only 4 months out from the election, they listened.
So like
for
a
all
hybrid
those
between an
years that they
automatic and a
weren't brought
manual.
down, what were you doing? We're all complaining about it, kicking up a stink, because it was too expensive for people to travel. They see an election
put 'em in
looming,
sports
they go,
cars.
righto, 50-cent fares, and slash the air train by
Quicker
50%.
changes between gears.
Because what does it do? It sends you to the ballot.
An automatic gearbox will always be quicker than a manual.
For 50 cents to vote at the school, and you vote them in.
Computer wins.
Smart politics. Not taking that away from
Never
them.
trust a Ford with a
What I
laptop.
criticise them for is that they're not looking at the longer-term solution. Now, let's
And
talk
an
about this
iPhone, and
contract
an
that's in
Android,
place.
and a laptop,
35-year
and a
contract.
live view, and a
The air train
Starlink,
owner is the UK's
and a 4G
University's
repeater.
Superannuation scheme.
and a big
Currently
battery
holds
bank.
a monopoly on public transport services to and from Brisbane Airport as part of the controversial acquisition believed to be worth more than $100 million, which prevents Brisbane City Council or Translink from running services to airport terminals until 2036. So we don't even own it. It's owned by the universities in the UK.
Car wants to get over it the wrong
The government
way.
has been under sustained pressure, including from Canberra, to find a way to unpick the
That's my big
35-year
battery down the
contract
bottom there.
amid grave concern the
Yanker.
monopoly will leave Brisbane short of a suitable
757.
airport transport options during the 2032 games. Now,
Starlink
the
ran
UK's
up there.
university superannuation scheme aren't to blame here. They've
Cameras.
simply picked up a good deal. But again, it's a 35-year contract. It takes us past the 2032 games. So if I'm the UK's university superannuation scheme, I'm not giving up this good deal, because you imagine what they're going to earn between now and the Olympics. The announcement will be seen as a short-term papering over the problem, but Transport Minister Bart Mellish insisted he was continuing to look for a longer-term solution. He said the 35-year contract made under the Borbidge LNP government had cost Queenslanders and would be difficult to undo. He says, quote, "We will keep working on the long-term solution for public transport to the airport to provide the best value for money for Queenslanders," he said. Well, unfortunately for Bart, you've
A
been
little bit of
stitched
wheel
up.
tramp there.
There's a contract in place and will be almost impossible to break it. So it was a terrible decision by the Borbidge LNP government, and it's now costing Queensland
Elon's car behind me, pushing
until
me.
at least 2036,
Put him to
because the
shame.
UK's university superannuation scheme
Tesla.
isn't simply going to turn around and say, all right, I will cut the contract because you don't want to do it anymore. They've signed on the dotted line. A contract's a contract. 133 882 is the open line number, or send me a text on 0499.
Please like and subscribe. For the latest news.
Ian in Springwood is the first cab off the rank this morning. Ian, good morning.
Good morning, Peter. How are you?
Very well. You want to talk about
Good
compulsory
morning,
voting?
chat.
Yeah,
Good morning,
we do
America.
not have a
It's not a
compulsory
morning in
voting
America.
system in Australia. We have a compulsory attendance system.
Yes, that's very true.
Signed off. When we get in the box, we don't have to vote.
Yes, you're right. You're very right. It is true, but it is
I
what
warmed
they
the
say
tyres
is
up there.
compulsory voting. But
Got
you're
a roar
right. We
from-
don't have to tick the box. You can just, throw the paper in and leave it at that. Do you think many Australians do it though?
Yeah, I do. And I think they vote for Mickey Mouse and they put other words that they wish on the voting ballot.
But don't you think I think most Australians now, Ian, are more educated, particularly around politics, and I think that came post the pandemic. I think people read far more into politics than they used to. Do you agree?
Look, I do agree. I recently was involved in the mayoral election and spoke to a lot of young people and actually asked them, do you know what you're doing? Do you know who you're voting for? Do you know why you're here? And I've got to tell you, a lot of them said no. But I think that in general, more mature age would certainly be more educated.
Yeah, you can only tap the brakes so much. Sometimes they keep doing it more when you do that.
Do you think
Kathy?
21 would be a better age?
I really do.
I was coming up to the roundabout there, and I had
That's a
that
fair
car on the
argument. It's
roundabout
one that
there. I
we've
wanted to
spoken
get in
about before on
between.
this program, but we'll throw
First,
it back out there. The
so I had to
voting
get up
age.
there anyway.
Would you
so-
like to see it go to 21? Good on you, Ian, in Springwood.
So
He
to make a
agrees
split
21 would be a better
decision?
voter
So a car
age.
like that one there on the
I've got to
right.
say that at
That was the
18,
older
you're
model.
pretty naive. Even at 21, you're very naive. But I think you probably have a better understanding of politics at the age of 21. I would
Yeah,
like
the
to
big
see
ones
the
I know
age
you
of voting
can't.
be
The newer ones you can't
up to
push
21.
them
I
too
think
much.
that's probably a
They'll
better
win
age than
off
18.
the
Anyway,
line.
133 882.
If you catch them in the wrong gear,
got plenty to
it's
talk
tough.
about this morning. Or you can send me a text 0499 880
Got that talking, you're in the right
From
gear.
Ipswich to the Bay, the desert to Bridie. This is 4BC.
It's heavy southbound along Oxley Road through Chelmer and Graceville. Minor delays after that through Corinda. Gippy Road stop-start in both directions through Chermside and Kedron. Same along
Yeah, I
Road,
try and
stop-start
use
both
the brakes
directions
less
between Kenmore and Invergilly.
as least
Witten
as I
Road's got
can.
delays in both directions between Morningside and Kingalba.
It just means you've got to
Minor
replace them
hold-ups along
quicker.
Sandgate Road between Boondall and Nunda.
That's my
Meanwhile,
theory anyway.
on the majors, no problems on
And the harder
main
you brake.
highways. The same for the M1 and the Bruce Highway.
This is a 40 kilometre
Jet Set
corner.
Plumbing and Electrical are giving
Of
you the
people
chance at a DIY
go around at 60,
holiday
70.
to the value of $35,000. Search Jet Set Plumbing and Electrical for full detail.
Morning, Belinda. I heard you and Barry got a Toyota BZ 4X all-wheel drive. Yeah.
So I've got the speed control set now to 60.
It's got X-Mode with all-wheel drive capability. Small space inside.
See a lot more of the electric cars.
It's got lots of leg room and more. Plenty of
Up to
tech.
90.
Packed to the brim. So, what made you switch? Well, it's a Toyota. The all-new, all-electric Toyota.
Bit foggy up on the mountain too.
Charge on. Owen Toyota.
Get over in case these people want to get over.
Save up to 50% off mattresses. Plus, for a limited time only, take an extra 10% off mattresses.
But buy some mattresses.
Exclusions, T&Cs apply.
Welcome to life's key moments, brought to you by
Got
First
one.
National Real Estate.
Cost me enough.
Where my furry friends are always welcome.
The key to endless adventures in my retirement.
The key to growing our own veggies and plenty of space for the kids to play.
The key to living the dream away from the big smoke.
The kids and girls night every night.
Your key to happiness awaits. Visit firstnational.com.au or call 1-800-032-332. First National Real Estate. We put you first. Budget Direct have done it again, Sarge.
What's that, Jackson?
They've found another way to help Australians save on their insurance.
Well, it's just more evidence that they've got insurance solved.
Tag it and bag it, Sarge.
Save 15% on your first year's premium. Purchase a new comprehensive car insurance policy online from Budget Direct. Terms and conditions apply. Issuer Auto and General Insurance Company Limited. Read PDS and TMD at budgetdirect.com.au to see if products suit. Individual circumstances and policy terms may vary. Compare for yourself.
Don't have a cold or the flu. Australian Red Cross Lifeblood needs more blood donors now, while so many of our regular donors rest up and recover from winter lurgies. So to give blood, to book your donation today. Give life. Give blood.
You're listening to Weekends with Peter Fegan on Brisbane's 4BC.
Acting Assistant Commissioner Andrew Massingham will join me this hour and we'll catch up on all the latest news when it comes to the fight against the youth crime crisis here in Queensland. Just a quick check on the weather. Brisbane at top of 22 degrees with rain developing and likely to become heavy and persistent later in the day. Ipswich, good morning to everyone in
Fuck
Ipswich.
you,
21
cunt.
degrees and cloudy.
Fuck you.
Showers from the late morning into the afternoon. Logan, 21 degrees with fog this morning. Chances of rain increasing as the day goes on. Manly Bayside, 23 and cloudy. Light winds and rain from this
Traffic
afternoon.
lights to merge up here in the city and sitting beside me. That was tailgating me. He's tailgating the car in front too. So I'm just
Rain from this afternoon.
keeping him where he should be.
16 degrees and rain with a chance of a thunderstorm as well. There you go. Pretty wet all up and down the east. He even wrote about his service on a now deleted Facebook post. 109.6 as a signalman, an army member responsible for military communications.
Yeah, you're doing the speed limit and they're sitting up your ass like
joining the
actually like a
105.6
metre
and later
away.
the 152.6.
And I said his number plate too.
He
By
also
Turbo
said-
Blue.
Or also claimed, I should say, this in an interview with the North Queensland Freedom Network.
It's wet roads too.
5 years in the military in Perth. So I was in signals in Swanbourne, or Karrakatta, Fremantle, and SAS Swanbourne.
Well, really, have you? Well, questions
Keep
have been
away from
raised
the
now, though,
motherfucker.
about whether or not it's true. Queensland's council watchdog, the Office of the Independent Assessor, confirmed that it had received Townsville Mayor Troy Thompson's service number and military history on Wednesday last week. The OIA said it had thoroughly considered the matter before referring it to the Crime and Corruption Commission. Records allegedly
Don't know
show
why
that
people can't be
he
considerate
didn't
instead of
in
bullies
fact
on the
spend
road.
5 years in the army, but did complete a 2-week recruit course and an Army reservist cooking course over a 6-month
Pretty much what he did
period
was
in
illegal.
1991. Let me repeat that. Records allegedly show that he didn't in fact spend 5 years in the Army. Now you've got to remember he used this military service as part of
They
his
realise they're on
degree.
camera. They
But
don't
he
care.
did complete
obviously.
a 2-week recruit course and an Army
see all that
reservist
stuff on the
cooking
roof?
course over 6 months in
You think I might be
1991,
live
so
streaming,
effectively
sir?
with the Cub Scouts. It's also emerged this week that he also
Any
lied about
authorities
his
watching?
education and business
Just gonna deal
degree.
with it.
He claimed during the lead up to the election that he was a university business graduate, which in fact, wait for it, is untrue.
80 kilometres home
He
back there.
sat down for an interview with a current affair during the week.
They had my cruise
Have a
control
listen
on too, and
to
he was
some
up
of
my ass for so long. Yeah, he gets off,
that I've
big
had
boy.
multiple concussions, 100 plus, and I suffer
Yeah,
from
it's still
epilepsy.
80.
That's not an excuse, but what it
Same guy.
says is you're going to forget things from time to time.
You claimed during your campaign
Yeah.
you enlisted in 1989 and served.
Something else got in front of him that's called
Is
karma.
that correct?
No, so when I and look, I honestly and hand on heart, I thought it was 5 years. I actually it was 89 when I joined. When I got my report, I realised it was 91.
Meaning he's served less than 3 years, not 5. Also admitting that time was
I don't think
spent
it's
as a
gonna be on.
reservist and largely in the
gonna be too
catering
late.
corps. Were you a full-time soldier in the army?
Never, no,
You said earlier you haven't lied.
no.
If that's the case, would you at least concede that during your campaign you embellished the truth?
Look,
If not, I'll just go for a drive around,
I
do
can't
something
say
else
that
on the
I
way
can
back,
concede
find
that
something
because
to
I
do.
didn't know my service number.
It's on tomorrow
I
too.
firmly
Might be
believe
raining
up until I
tomorrow.
received this report
Who knows?
that I'd served 5 years.
I'll get
You
my money
mentioned
back if
once
it's
you've got your
cancelled
service
anyway.
number, services
It's only
for
20
you
bucks,
releasing it publicly
25
in
bucks.
full. Do you still intend to do that?
Look,
Next
don't-
weekend's a lot dearer. It's
I
like
don't want everybody to know
40 or something, or $50. It's like 167 for
He
4
does,
days.
however, concede
That's-
he did
yeah.
not serve in
Something
3
like that.
separate units, nor was he a member
But like 40 or
of the
$50 if you buy them singly or
So
something. for the
just to be
next day.
clear, 109 Signal Squadron, yes.
Yes.
But 105 and 152.
Friday and Saturday. Or maybe
Was it a mistake to mention
Saturday and
the
Sunday,
SAS
so maybe the
pre-election?
days.
I probably didn't say it right pre-election, but I certainly spent some time with people from SAS.
There he is,
never
up on the
claimed
left.
to be a soldier of the SAS, and
Blue, and it's got a
most
black
respected
tailgate.
soldiers we have, so it's important.
Are you sorry?
Absolutely. Look, I
Black looking.
apologise to all services
Could be
as well as
grey.
veterans and defence, and I think it's important to put that out there because
Stick
I
back.
respect the
I
military.
didn't get in front of what's
New
in
Mayor
front.
also promised to reduce council debt, spruiking his business
Just get triggered,
credentials
you
to the
watch.
public. Tell us about your success in business.
There he goes.
I think I know where this is going to lead, so it's interesting.
Cruise controls on a
Businessman turned man as an exactly a dream run. In fact, he was at the helm of
blend in. There he goes. He's going the other way.
Solutions when it went bust in 2017, owing almost $9 million.
The journalist Riz D'Alessandro's done a great job on this yard. Says, did you embellish the truth? He says, no, I didn't. But hang on a moment, you did, because on 3 separate occasions, Riz asked you the question.
Very cheap fuel out here. I'll probably get some on the way back.
And you said, no, I wasn't. Then he said, what about talking about
Buddy.
dangerous? Oh, I know people from the
6 kilometres in there.
and you were on a barbecue cooking pancakes for 2 weeks. You're hardly in the SAS. You lied to voters. And 100 plus concussions. And his battle with epilepsy was what he's pegged
Have a
as
good one.
poor memory.
V6.
What's the old saying? When you find yourself in a hole,
Almost said it.
stop digging. He's lied about his military history. He's lied about graduating uni.
It's
And
actually
it's
90
also been
now.
alleged that he's been previously fined twice on charges of forgery and attempted fraud in a Southport Magistrates Court in 2007. First claiming he didn't know about it. He later said the charges were over a credit application using a different surname. No conviction was recorded. This bloke is a fraud. Though that local government, he doesn't deserve to be in office.
Please like and
he needs to
subscribe.
go now. Siobhan Fay, good morning.
Good morning, Deeds. Making news this hour. A 58-year-old man has been seriously injured after he was allegedly stabbed on the Fraser Coast overnight.
Allegedly
a
had a
33-year-old man
knife.
has since been charged with 1 count of grievous bodily harm. Donald Trump has lashed out at the judge presiding over his hush money trial. Trump is guilty of doctoring business statements to bury a hush money payment made to an adult film star he was having an affair with.
Porno.
Brisbane's air train tickets are said to be slashed under a new deal between the operators and the Queensland government, and house prices in Brisbane have risen 13.69% in the last year. New PropTrack data revealing that during May, the cost of a property grew by 0.67% to hit a new peak. In sport, the Bulldogs have recorded a ghastly 32-2 win over a lacklustre night's outfit in wet conditions in Newcastle, and Figs will have more news again at 10.
People just do stuff around you. Most times in front of the camera, where I'm concerned.
Our mouth-watering menu with something for everyone. Juicy steaks to fresh seafood platters for up to 4 people, and absolutely everything.
I need like big red flashing lights saying you are being recorded live, or your actions are being recorded, and a voice coming out saying something like that.
It's something you have to see.
LA voice.
Open 7 days for brekkie, lunch or dinner. The Belvedere Woody Park,
bugger 'em.
sunsets and celebrations.
Just film them.
Don't miss Ram Truck's 4.99%
It's all on
finance
YouTube.
mates rate. Get a Hemi V8 Ram Bighorn with a 4.99% mates rate from Ram Trucks Finance. Ends 30 June. Visit ramtrucks.com.au. TNCs apply. Approved applicant applicants of Ram Trucks Finance only.
For top shelf mates.
If I've got time, I'll go back and clip it.
Nobody beats Dan Murphy's. Whether it's for quiet nights in or loud nights out. For big birthdays, just because. For milestone moments, or Mondays. Shop old favourites or discover something new with our lowest liquor price guarantee. Where we don't match competitors' advertised prices. We beat
So they always say you should do 10 kilometres less than the speed limit if it's raining, or if the conditions are different. Yeah, there's sometimes you're driving at night and you just can't see perfectly. It's either too dark or you've got blaring lights in your eyes.
And right now, Everyday Extra is just $3 a month on an annual plan.
There's all sorts of different scenarios.
Sign up to Everyday Extra today. It's a win-win. T's and C's and exclusions apply.
Did you know that respiratory syncytial virus, or RSV, is not just a childhood illness? Adults can catch it too throughout their lives. Similar to other respiratory infections,
Did the windscreen just get foggy?
easily spread RSV.
No, it went out of focus,
Though
I think.
often mild, RSV infection can be serious. Older adults may experience severe complications compared with younger adults. For more information about RSV,
Oh, I gotta change the
talk to a
camera angle,
healthcare
hang on.
professional. Sponsored by GlaxoSmithKline Australia Proprietary Limited, Melbourne. Don't have a cold or the flu? Australian Red Cross Lifeblood needs more blood donors now, while so many of our
Just focused on the wires or something in the actual windscreen then.
Give blood to book your donation today. Give life. Give blood.
I couldn't get my finger into the front of where the lens was. It was so close to the windscreen. Like it was on macro mode or something.
You're listening to Weekends with Brooke.
You're listening to Weekends with Brooke with Andy. Please like and subscribe.
Credentials when he says that he has memory issues. If his memory is that bad, it makes one question his ability to carry out his role as mayor. He's just a BS artist. That's all he is. Shane's texted
I
him.
forgot I was
There's
the
a difference
mayor.
between forgetting things and talking about complete BS. Townsville mayor should be ashamed of himself and must go. And I 100% agree with you, Shane. He must go, and he must go today. And we need to make sure that he is gone by this week.
Hey,
Do
Oliver?
not leave it any later. In some breaking news, at least 2 flights have been cancelled from Brisbane
That's
to
good
Perth.
to hear, Oliver.
Perth Airport is experiencing issues delivering fuel supplies to aircraft. A number of international, domestic and regional flights have been delayed or cancelled. Just repeating, at least 2 flights have been cancelled from Brisbane to Perth. Perth Airport is experiencing issues delivering fuel supplies to aircraft. A number of international and domestic regional flights have been delayed. Well, earlier in the week, I chatted to Representative Jordan Tusher. This is all about the push to limit kids' access to social media that's caused debate over the last few weeks. But if you think back to a couple of months ago, the government in Florida was one of the first to float this ambitious idea. We've covered it a lot here on Weekends, but we're going to continue to because it is a divisive topic and people like to talk about it. So in March, the Utah State Legislature passed the Utah Minor Protection in Social Media Act, which defines an age assurance system as measures reasonably calculated to enable a social media company to identify whether a current or prospective Utah account holder is a minor with an accuracy rate of at least 95%, so they can monitor what's going on. They're at the forefront of these pushes, and so I thought why not go to the architect of the change? So this week I spoke to Representative Jordan Tusher. He represents Utah's 44th district, and he is the vice chair of the House of Rules Committee in Utah's legislature. So here is our chat now. Take a listen.
Okay, Oliver.
It is a very complex issue, social media, particularly here in Australia. We have a premier of one of our states here calling on a ban for children under the age of 14 to 16 to be banned from social media. It's something very similar to the laws that come into effect in Utah in October, and you would suggest that Australia should follow suit.
Yes, Utah's been working on this for a couple of years now and trying to
American accent,
the right
working on this for
to
right
protect
now.
kids, while at the same time allowing them some space to explore and express their conscience and their beliefs and have a community and everything. And what we're finding is that sweet spot seems to be around 16. And so if Australia were able to move their date there, I think they'd see some real positive health benefits for their kids.
One of the big questions, Representative, we've had here from our lawmakers is how you actually police it. What ideas or measures do you have in place in Utah to be actually able to stop children from activating it? Because our police service here say that they would be too busy to police it. How do we do it?
See if the cameras are right now.
Two approaches.
Just need refocusing.
How it works out.
It's picking up reflection, I think. Yeah, see the wire in the screen?
The first way that we've done that
must be a heating element in the screen.
Enabled our Division of Consumer Protection to be able to receive complaints, and based on those complaints, to levy fines against social media companies. So if they find that they're not complying with the law, parents
Big
or
service station, I'm
minors or whoever can report those, they'll get investigated, and then fines will be assessed by our Division of Consumer Protection.
Maybe it's a different
but we think
trees
that
or something.
the main way that these are going to be able to be enforced is through private rights of action. So we have enabled parents to be able to sue social media companies on behalf of their minors for any
suction
mental
cups all over the bloody
harm that are caused by
one in the back
social media
too,
companies.
put you in there.
Now we created a safe harbor in the sense saying
get
that,
naughty, I'll put you in the back.
We're going to presume that if you've allowed a minor on the social media account to be able to participate in that social media account, and then they have mental health issues, we're going to presume that they were caused by your platform. However, if the social media company will take certain actions,
problems from
they'll limit the amount of time that minors can be on the site. They'll require parental permissions. They will enable certain privacy protections, etc. If they do these things, then we'll flip that presumption, and someone that sues a social media company will have to come forward and overcome a presumption that the harm was caused by that social media company. And so we feel like the number of lawsuits that will come forward against social media companies that aren't in compliance will be a strong enough incentive for social media companies to comply with the law.
Could you see, Representative, how the social media companies could simply turn around in a lawsuit and say, well, it's not really on us, it's on the parents? I think there is a fair responsibility as well here that land on the shoulders of the parents, because kids will be kids, won't they? It's almost impossible to stop them from doing something completely.
I totally agree. There's a strong role for parents to be able to be involved and help their kids to learn how to safely navigate on social media. But what really prompted me to get involved in this sort of legislation in the States here is coming from parents who came and said, I'm doing everything I possibly can. I've bought this app and that app and this protection, and I've taken away their phone. I've done everything I can. And the algorithms and the incentives and the addictive nature of these platforms is so much that we just can't overcome
access
that.
to it.
And so there needs to be
like
a
you try and
place
stop
for
a
government
prisoner
to come
going
in
online
and
without
set
giving
some
bloody
boundaries, just like they
computers in
do
the
for
cell.
alcohol, just like they do for tobacco and other things that cause serious health damages to minors.
Was it a decision that was popular? I mean, did you have a lot of opposition?
Interestingly, like I said, this has been a 2-year effort that we've gone through to try to garner support and get the bills just right to be able to pass. And I would say from the public's perspective, almost unanimous support for doing something. And we saw a lot of people come out and testify in support of the bills with stories that I've never heard before, really harrowing accounts of what had happened to their kids. The protections that we're trying to put in place with these bills and the serious harms and effects that have been caused from that. Really the only pushback has been from these companies that have strong incentives to keep minors online and addicted to their platforms. And they're the ones who came forward, and most of them were not based in our state. You know, they came from Washington, D.C. or New York and testified online, and you could quickly see that many of them didn't have kids or really just had different interests than what was aligning with the culture and values that we have here in Utah.
Representative, here in Australia, I think the big argument is we need to protect children from the filth or the garbage that they're exposed to on social media, meaning that we want to try and get them outside a little bit more and get them a little bit more active. But what we learned during COVID, Representative, here in Australia was that they spent more time in front of their screens, and I think there is a little bit of a hangover there. We need to protect children from, pedophiles or adults that are targeting children in particular. But we also need to protect children from other children. And I think there is an argument there that we need to try and examine why children are being mean to other children and where that originates. I'm not sure if that's a trend you see in America, but we do here in Australia see children being particularly nasty to other children, and I think we need to try and figure out why that is.
Yeah, and I would say that's something that has been looked at for more than 10 years, really from the advent of social media. You saw the online bullying, and there's been laws across the nation, across the world to try to combat that, and I think we're actually getting better in that space. What we're finding in the research that's coming out is even without that harm, even if kids are not exposed to the filth and they're not being bullied, they are still irreparably harmed by their time on social media, by mostly the way the algorithms are set up to feed them the information that they're looking for. And so you may have a girl that stares a little bit longer on an ad for weight loss or something, and that will trigger something that in the algorithm that will give her more and more ads and articles and posts, and suddenly it's overwhelming to that child of what's being said, even though it's no one's telling them they're fat, no one that knows them in real life is coming after them, but the algorithm holes that are created that continue to push them into a certain space cause problems within their mind and really push them into an area that they're really not able to cope with in the age that they are.
It's such a complex world for these kids. I think what you're doing, Representative, in Utah is incredible. It's on the forefront of law, and I think that what we should do in Australia is take a leaf out of your book. Is there any opportunity for you, or have you been in contact with any of our lawmakers? Have you spoken to anyone of our politicians at all?
I haven't talked to any politicians. I've talked to a number of people in the media now in Australia over the last couple of weeks as you've really been diving into this issue. And also, I think from, I'm not sure the office, but one of the offices that is looking at enforcing this. So they were kind of looking to see, okay, how does Utah deal with that? And we had some conversations around that. But I really would say this is a space that we're all trying to learn from. It has been the wild, wild west for too long, and we're seeing the major harmful impacts of that. And so we're going to be trying things in Utah. Other states are trying, Florida's doing a lot right now. There's other states that have passed legislation in different areas, and we're going to be learning from each other. We'll learn what happens in Australia and figure out what really can solve some of these problems, what can overcome the really horrible trends that just continue to go up of self-harm and suicidation and mental health issues. And hopefully we can help each other figure out the right solution and get social media in a space that can be safe to minors.
So your laws come into effect in October. We will watch this space. Obviously, there is going to be some movement here in Australia. If the opportunity arises, would you be willing to address Parliament here in Australia to, I guess, be able to guide them in what you have done in Utah?
Absolutely, absolutely. And I talk to lawmakers across the United States all the time as they're grappling with this. We passed the first in the nation laws here in Utah, but every state is seeing the same problem. And we're seeing it in the UK, we're seeing it in Australia and other European countries. And so I'd be more than happy to share the research that we've done and hopefully soon the evidence that shows that we're actually making an impact and some of those trends are reversing.
Excellent. Representative Jordan Tusher, we really appreciate taking some time out this morning, and we hope that you and everybody in Utah is enjoying your weekend, and we thank you so much.
Absolutely. Thanks for having me.
There he is, Representative Jordan Tusher. Very interesting. I'd like to get your thoughts on it. 133-882.
Petrol's pretty cheap. I might get some here.
Text on 0499 882. Lee has texted in
170. Yeah, that's pretty good actually.
Utah is the capital.
I got paid 172. Yes. I think about quarter of a tank. Yeah, that's all. Cool. Bananas. Frankie Frank.
On Kingston Smith Drive, there is delayed operation on through Albion and Thompson. There is some General Highway northbound.
Might be too long. took $17. Being so cheap. Have a solo. No sugar. Everything's getting in the way. How's the signal beam so far? Alright. Still got 4,000 bit rate. That's what you need for the phone. For the live view, you need 10,000 or something. It's better for crowds, I reckon. Actually, add the events. Now that I got this 4G repeater, that seems to be working fine. Haven't gone really far out in Central Australia. It's been almost $2 a litre last few weeks. $1.70 is fine. Hey Trisha. Pretty sure it's not going to be on. Or if they might have a few test races or something, I don't know. Well, the road's dry, it doesn't seem to rain out here yet. So we'll see what happens. Mightn't be any rain in it, just like sprinkles. And if it is on, I'm just going to use the phone. If I use the gimbal with the phone, it's only going to last like 3.5 hours or something. It's supposed to go to 4 PM in like 6 hours from 10 till 4. And tomorrow too, same time. So it's only $25 for 2 days. Next weekend's like $167 for 4 days. I don't know if I'm going to be going all the 4 days.
There he is, Acting Assistant Commissioner Andrew Massingham. A very interesting text message has come through from Lee.
So someone would have set up before yesterday.
Massingham spoken about before, and that is social media.
There's a little camping site here just near the racetrack too. But there's no power in it, it's just toilets.
It's an interesting question. I'm going to throw it out to you. Do you have, as a parent, an Instagram or Facebook
I just thought I'd come for a drive anyway.
133-882 or send me a text 0499 880 882.
At Foxtel Entertainment,
Made plenty of ice last night, got plenty of cold drinks. Yes, got lunch. They don't really have to buy anything. I think it's too expensive when you go out to.
Are you having trouble with your money? Olivia Maragna, our money genius, will join me in the studio as she does each Saturday after the 10 o'clock news. It is currently 2.5 minutes to 10. Canada, Alaska and Japan are some of the most popular places to travel this year. And the good news is Viking's 23-day North Pacific passage.
Somehow I don't think I'll be able to pull this phone out any further from the windscreen. It's so big.
You'll never forget. Listen to this. You'll
stop it. The camera being so close to the windscreen.
Of the Arctic Circle to the bustling streets of Tokyo. That's right. And enjoy a complimentary shore excursion in every port.
Yeah, it was small, eh? That's why I don't like those beaches up there. See how I was saying the beaches are totally different from Brisbane upwards, but if you went down the Gold Coast, they're longer and they're wider. The colour was different too. Sort of like a whitey, yellowy. So you go down the Gold Coast and it's really like pure bleach white. Blonde. There we go. 24th, I went to that last year. Jamboree. Drag strip. Petrol's 176 there. So I did get it cheap. I don't know what else there is to do out here. I'd have to pull over and look up on the phone. And we don't want to go in the rainforest because we won't get signal, maybe, I don't know.
is 4BC.
Shane has texted, he says, Andrew Massingham is such an impressive man, straight shooter and talks sense. That's why we get him on each Saturday, and that's why he's been put in the position he's been
this
put
is
in.
not a
I've said
paid
that from the very
sponsorship.
start. He's the right
If
man
you would
for
like
the
to
job,
send me
and he's winning the
1,000
war
cartons of
on
salt
youth crime day by day. Wes Hennessy has sent me a text. He'd like to have his say on the Troy Thompson saga, the Townsville mayor, particularly about lying about military service. I'm going to get Wes on the phone at 10:45. I'm even going to try and have a chat to Reece D'Alessandro.
Care about the phone getting wet.
Brisbane's
Got a waterproof rating on it.
Light chaos in
cameras ahead.
WA. It's 10. 33-year-old man is due in court today, charged with grievous bodily harm. A 58-year-old man suffered a significant abdominal wound following an incident at a Torquay home overnight.
Botrix is getting in on the act.
It's understood that the two men are known to each other, and if you or anyone you know is suffering from domestic or family violence, contact 1-800-RESPECT.
Thanks yesterday, Trisha.
Critics remain wary of a proposal for a
Pinky.
ceasefire in Gaza. US President Joe Biden announced
That got
Israel
him
has agreed
unbanned.
to a 3-phase truce deal and is now waiting on a response from Hamas. But concerns Netanyahu will backflip on the plan remains. Palestine National Initiative Secretary General Mustafa Baghuti has told Al Jazeera the White House announcement reveals an interesting political dynamic.
Got my ticket on the laptop too, so I have to start the laptop up to get in. Somehow I don't think it's going to be on. There's some of these people pay like $700 or $900 cents. There's people camping over there. I don't know which entrance it might be, the competitors' entrance or is it the people's entrance?
The second highest indexation increase on record.
A few people camping in the area. It's free camping.
With higher education loans, we see an increase in loan indexation.
A couple of caravans and a few tents and the bus. They basically just toilets and a few seats.
People with HEX help loans. Last year's 7.1% hike was followed by another substantial jump of 4.7%. The consecutive increases have raised concerns amongst
There's not many cars parked in the block.
with financial pressures. The federal government has pledged
Looks like there's stores and everything, so it looks like it's still going on. We could get into it from here. Go-karts are. Looks like there's go-karts are on.
After a social media post relating female students from a Gold Coast school was uploaded online. Pupils from Foxwell State Secondary College were reportedly ranked in offensive categories, including one-night stand and unbreakable. It follows a similar incident to Victoria's Yarra
The go-karts are even going on.
At least 2 Brisbane departed flights.
Go-kart track now.
After a number of international and domestic flights were cancelled or delayed at the West Australian.
There's nobody else's cars here.
Delivering fuel to aircraft. A new research from QIM
By the looks of it. So I say it's a random event.
genetic disorder. This week marks the
Probably on their website.
hemochromatosis
Doesn't
week.
matter. There's all entrance over there.
Absorb excess iron from
Well, it's sunny tomorrow, it'll be on tomorrow.
says they've discovered a
So I'll change the camera view. I'll get out and give you some vlog.
and other cells.
See, we're focused up on that shit. We've got to try and fix that too. Well, the gates where you normally go in are closed. I'll get out and I'll prove it to you. But all the entrances are still camped over in there inside. So it's definitely not on because it's gates are open like 8 o'clock. Starting at 10. I'll sit here and try and figure this map out. There's another car coming through.
766264, and he's just another of the Italian brigade that's creating waves in tennis.
All I gotta do is unclip the phone.
Rublev, meanwhile, has been up and down a bit this year with his tennis. Sinner, meanwhile, advanced to the last 16. The Australian Open winner beat Pavel Kotov in straight sets. Kovalev had a win, and the Wimbledon
Let's pull out a bit more.
Ash Barty beat in the final here, also reached the 4th round. Craig Gabriel in Paris, 9 News.
Still blurry.
Josh O'Connor, who's played like he had a point to prove after being overlooked at Origin. He doubled his fire in Canterbury to an emphatic 32-2 win over the Knights in Newcastle. The White House had lost to the Reeds 27-26 in their final game. Its 10, that's the latest in news and sport.
Harvey Norman clearance on now with flooring priced to clear. Save up to 20% off carpets. Huge range of family-friendly colours and styles. Update now and save. Add value to your home with new hybrid flooring. Save up to 20% off a wide range, including a...
The gate's closed. Welcome to the Winter Nationals. Try and fix this hand up. Not much over here. The go-karts are on. Go and have a wander over there in a minute. See if we can get in. So let spectators in. Not that I'm going to stay there all day. Please like and subscribe. Let me figure out this bloody phone mount so I can get a view at the front. Not sure. I have to move the phone mount down. Just stick it there. Stick you there. Go for tape, but then you get no front view. Let me try and move this upwards a bit. It's got to go upwards, it's got to go down. Let's see what's going to work on. Probably won't work the way I'm doing it. Probably going to have heaps of I think I'm doing it the wrong way. We hear them bloody playing music over there. Studio. Or columns. I think you're down. The AI will pick that up. Okay. Now then we got this music. It's got to be so far away from the bloody screen to get both views. Oh, I don't know if it's going to work. Okay. I put it up about 3 inches higher than what it was. Probably going to be too bloody high now. See now, it's too high. Shit. It's got to come down. So I think it's going to work any better than what I had. Okay. Make a liar of me. Yeah, sure he is. Yeah, that Muppet shit's in a bucket. Stop from self-promoting yourself. No self-promoting, unless Trisha's doing it. I'm trying to get a little better shot of it.
industry and other highly regarded environments. He's currently based in Vancouver. Darren will commence in late July. So I've done a little bit of research on Darren Hales, and I must say, he has quite the resume, don't get me wrong. He was an Associate Director of Reputation at the University of British Columbia, and he's also held top positions in the travel industry, so it's quite impressive. But what experience does he have in Queensland corporates?
Just trying to put power in it now.
And I'd like to ask the question, who appointed this bloke? Why do we have to go overseas and appoint
all these technical
to
bloody
run
things
our
now.
police media unit? It literally makes no sense. Now, to Commissioner Golczewski, I'd be very careful before you pay this bloke's plane ticket over here, because a lot of your most senior officers, well, they don't like the idea. Because this bloke, why do we have to go overseas and appoint all these? Now, to Commissioner Golczewski, I'd be very careful before you pay this bloke's plane ticket over here, because a lot of your most senior officers, well, they don't like the idea. Because this make any sense, Commissioner? And it needs to change, and we need to change it immediately before he gets here, and put Todd Saunders in the job because he deserves it. 133 882. Well, there's always a lot going on in the world of finance. Olivia Maragna, who has the longest history from its Aspire Retired Financial Services, our expert to break it all down.
So 1st of June, it's all happening.
It's now 11:10. It's 12 past 10. That intro started at about 9 past 10. Did you do that yourself?
No, I didn't, but I've heard for a while now.
There's a little-known incentive when it comes to the end of the financial year that means that you get some free money from the government. We love it, free money. Tell us how it works.
Yeah, show me the money. So look, this is a strategy that's all about co-contribution scheme. So it helps low to middle income earners boost their retirement savings. And by low to middle income, we're talking about those who are earning less than about $58,000. So the government co-contribution involves the government contributing to super.
Yeah, when it's probably drag cars and stuff.
Earners to encourage them to assist saving for retirement.
Safety.
So it's 50
Quite
cents
often gets,
for every dollar of eligible
you can be here during the day and
contributions you put into super. So really nice and simple. If I put $1,000 into my superannuation fund, the government tops it up by $500. So who is eligible for this? So number one,
go down to the entrance and see if there's any security on the gate.
Non-concessional, which is an after-tax contribution
Pretty sure it's
to super. For this
otherwise it's the top entrance would be open.
There'd
be a line up of cars going down the bottom entrance too. There's not even any spectators.
You must have a total super balance of less than what we call the general transfer balance, which is about $1.9 million.
The go-karts are really aren't going.
And you have not contributed more than what we call the non-concessional or after-tax contribution cap, which is around about $110,000 each year. And
they've got like an ambulance thing there for the go-karts.
As well. So let me give you some examples in terms of this income test. So the maximum co-contribution...
People do a lot of driving on the weekends and stuff like motorbikes and things.
$43,000. So, and at least...
Don't know if there's anything up there at all.
So, give you a really nice, simple example.
On the left is the actual raceway.
Employment income,
this is the drag strip.
Interest,
definitely not on.
My wages income is more than 10%. I'm under $43,000. Under $1,000.
You'd have the side of the roads dirty as.
Extra $500. So remember, it's assessable income, it's not taxable income. So there's a little bit of a formula around that. So check that before you do that as well. But you get a maximum.
There will be security on the gate.
So there is no incentive to put $1,000 for this co-contribution. So you can put $500 in, the government's going to give you $250.
No, there's no cars in there at all.
$2,000 still only going to get $500. So that's the maximum co-contribution. It's a 50% return on money. So if you think about $1,000 in super, the government
If it's really raining tomorrow, I won't be coming out. I'll just get a refund.
So it might be $10,000 or $20,000 a year just to keep some extra money coming in.
Please like and
they're
subscribe.
Likely to have that paid off their mortgage. They're likely to have this $1,000. Now, taking time off the kids. So a lot of people who are going on maternity leave, maybe they've worked a few months in the year, they're under that. Obviously,
there won't be people in the parks.
You don't get access to your super until generally you're about 60
right.
years of age. So if you're closer to retirement, this makes a lot of sense. If you're much younger, maybe it doesn't make as much sense, but that's where I say sometimes that parents, grandparents, think about this incentive. You've got the benefit of compounding long term to boost someone's superannuation benefits long term as well.
It's not a bad idea if you are closer to retirement, as you mentioned. It's a great incentive, and I think for people that are closer to retirement, they might have the extra $500 to $1,000. I mean, it's a great scheme, don't get me wrong. Often the greater schemes by governments are given to us before elections or before end of financial year, and they look great on paper, but again, it's difficult because there are so many people that are doing it tough, but again, it is great advice. I found this one quite interesting, and I've got a bit of a reader I'm going to do on this a little bit later, but recent research commissioned by Australia Post has uncovered an alarming increase in shipping and package delivery scams targeting Australians. Tell us more.
Yeah, this is quite alarming. So we're talking a study that was done. 3/4 of respondents reported having received a fake delivery or package scam messages. And look, I get them every week as well. I'm not sure about you, but this is huge. So this is all about tracking parcels. It's can I leave it at your door? Click on this link. All of that sort of thing. People are falling victim to these scams. So if we look at everyone who's getting targeted by this, 27%, so 1 in 4, have actually fallen victim to it. So they've actually gone ahead, they've actually clicked on whatever it is, and they've actually become victim. Now, they're either going to lose their identity, so identity theft is the big one. Small number of people reporting losing over $20,000. So they follow the prompts, they end up giving
an overcast day, outskirts of Brisbane.
For a delivery. Click on the wrong link for a delivery and you effectively lose that amount of money. So look, this is quite incredible when we just look at how much are we getting spammed by these text messages, emails, phone calls every week. 80% of Australians are reporting that they receive up to 10 scam texts or calls every week. 1 in 8 are receiving more than 16. So they're just getting hit constantly with text messages, fake phone calls, constantly.
I get them all the time. I get 4 a week, 3 a week.
It's crazy. And it does. The big thing that you've just got to keep in mind is it can come up as a text message or in your email as though it's looking it's coming from Australia Post, but
Brisbane's
it's actually
about 46 kilometres away.
Australia Post is basically saying that people need to be very aware of these scams effectively. They've got a free Australia Post app. So if you want to track deliveries, use their app and they'll do the push notifications through their app. You don't have to worry about what comes through your text messages or anything like that. And Australia Post will never call, text or email individuals to request any sort of personal or financial information, including passwords, credit card details, all of that. They're not going to do any of that. Now, the other thing that's broken this morning in terms of not so much scams but cyber threats is if you are a TikTok account holder, just keep in mind this morning they've come out and said that they've had a cyber attack and that people's email addresses and potentially date of births has been leaked as well.
Yeah.
So just keep that in mind as well. You'll probably hear a bit
Everybody's
more
getting hacked. Check under your seat. You're getting hacked.
My interactions with Australia Post are usually the 5 or 6 parcels a week that we get from the Iconic that Maddie's been shopping during the week. I often forget what she's bought, but they just rock up at the house. That's about all we get.
That's great.
But I can understand, yeah, of course. And when and as she always says, it was on special, so it's free. So anyway, also I think that those scam texts and scam phone calls will eventually police themselves. Australians just need to wake up a little bit because I know that some people are getting caught out, and it's unfortunate, usually the older generation of people, but surely we can wake up to them and see that it's not real. I mean, some of the texts I get, I look at it and I go, seriously, you can do better than that.
Yeah, look, I think I see so much fake stuff now as well with artificial intelligence. I even look at photos and go,
that's what we've been talking about is AI this morning.
We start to become a bit more sceptical the more time goes on as well.
Can't get away from it.
If you're expecting a post, something in the postage or a delivery to be coming, it's very easy not to think twice. We're very click happy. It's very easy just to click on things and go, hold on a second, maybe that isn't quite right. So
170.3.
smart people fall for these sort of scams. just really important, particularly for deliveries. Australia Post is urging people use the app.
She's our money expert, Olivia Maragna from Aspire Retire Financial Services. She joins me in the studio. Retirees, Olivia, are facing a continuing challenge in inflation and rising living costs, requiring a record level of funds to sustain a comfortable retirement. It is an ongoing issue and it's a scary one.
Yeah, it is. And when we look at the last quarter figures that have come out, it's basically saying that if you are a couple retired, you need now a new high. So this is a new high of $72,663 a year for a comfortable retirement. If you are a single person, you need about just under $52,000 for a comfortable retirement. But just keep in mind, in terms of this comfortable definition, it's basically saying, so it's not probably what a lot of people think is comfortable. So comfortable is daily essentials, groceries, transport, home repairs, private health insurance, a few exercises to keep you healthy, generally connecting with family through technology. So not necessarily going to visit family, but it's through technology. One annual domestic trip per year, one international trip every 7 years. So we're not talking what a lot of retirees like to do in terms of travel and those sort of things. So 73,663 is what this comfortable retirement looks like. So we're at an all-time high now. If we look at what's increased over the last quarter, hospital medical costs are up by about 2%, which is nearly twice in the previous quarter. The increase is twice what it was the previous quarter. If we look at premiums for house, home contents, motor vehicle insurance, this is a massive one. We're up to 16.7% annually, the increase. Absolutely.
Point speed cameras.
Just in the last quarter, 16.7% annually. It's probably what we hear a lot of.
So they measure
insurances are going up. We need to shop them around. It's just getting out of control effectively. In terms of food, up about another 4% for the quarter. Dairy products are up there as well.
I think it's just
cereal products, bread and cereal products have had a big jump, about 7.3%, which is huge.
It's not usually 80,
it's really huge. So, but in terms of the only good news is fuel prices. In the quarter, they've pretty much stayed the same or declined slightly. But this is all-time highs for retirees in terms of a comfortable retirement.
Olivia Maragna, we appreciate your time this morning. We'll catch you again next week. It's always a great insight
with his feet on the ground.
We know sometimes we refer to you as the money nerd, but it's good because we need we need more money nerds.
He must be doing about 80 k's an hour with his feet on the ground. You got metal underneath his shoes.
Anytime. Click on audio at 4bc.com.au.
In Hotdog, there's been a motor vehicle accident on Elizabeth Avenue at York Street, I should say. It's heading southbound from Cornelia Street down to the House Highway Bridge.
Please like and subscribe.
At the intersection of Mains Road and Montgomery Street and Sunnybank delays on both. There's been an accident as well on the Malgrabat Calabar Road between Newnham Road and Tryon Street and up to Malgrabat, and an accident on Luckridge Road southbound through Windsor. I'm Peter Gooch, your Brisbane's traffic leader, 882 4BC.
Connect with Brisbane's 882 4BC online. Listen live, watch live, have your say, and hear podcasts of your favourite shows. 4bc.com.au.
The NRMA Insurance Blue Ribbon Sale is on now. You can get up to 15% off when you take out a new NRMA business insurance policy. Offer ends July 31st. Call us on 132-818. Discount on first year's premium only and may be limited if you reach the minimum base premium. Excludes motor trade insurance, farm insurance, professional indemnity insurance, and information and communications technology liability insurance. Always read the PDS and TMDs from NRMA Insurance.
After 150 shows last season to thousands worldwide, raw rhythms, breathtaking beats, and a story spanning generations. Get ready for a taste of Ireland.
Straight behind my arm.
Broadway to Brisbane this June and July. The global Irish music and dance sensation returns to Brisbane, Redcliffe, Cleveland, Logan, and Ipswich as part of its world tour, featuring stars direct from Lord of the Dance in one powerhouse event. Book now at atasteofirelandshow.com.
9 Radio is currently playing content that cannot be played on our online streams. Normal programming will resume shortly.
Why are we here? Are our destinies predetermined? Do I really need 200 gigabytes of data to go on my dating apps?
Hey, what's doing?
Nah.
Question everything, especially your telco plan. Get 25 gigabytes for just $29 with Aldi Mobile.
Right now, Vicente Premium Aged Care has career opportunities available throughout our 6 family-run communities.
If you have a passion for people and you have a passion for aged care, we would love to have you come to Vicente.
There's a lot of opportunities at Vicente. We have about 65 different roles. I always say to people when they start that you can go up, down, left, whichever way you want to go.
Why not consider a career at vicente.com.au, celebrating 50 years.
You're listening to Weekends with Peter Fegan on Brisbane's 4BC.
It's 25.5 after 10, top of 23 degrees in the River City today. I'll have the rest of the southeast Queensland's weather for you in just a moment. What is the chemical symbol for gold? What is the chemical symbol for gold? That is the first question in my rolling quiz. What is the chemical
doing very,
symbol
very dangerous
for gold?
moves,
You know what's
tailgating.
all 3 correct answers.
Overtaking on the
before the midday news, I'll ask you 3
other
questions.
side of the road where you shouldn't really be doing
If you get them right and you're the right caller,
And pushing in
I'll
front of
give
me
you a
like that, especially 6 car
$250
lengths
Boss
ahead.
Restaurant voucher. Thanks to Liam
Dumb, stupid
McMahon,
bitch.
Adrian Richardson, and the tremendous team.
Oh, well, we got enough to do, but follow her.
480 Queen Street, best steak and best view in town.
Now on 4BC Weekends, Peter Fegan comments.
Now, I know I am critical of the PC BS that we are constantly witnessing in today's society, and I think we have become a little too sensitive, so my comments I'm about to make may come as a shock. And before I cop the barrage of criticism, I want to make myself very clear when I say I'm all for a good laugh, and if anyone knows me, they will agree with me. Earlier this week, Fox Sports duo and NRL royalty Fletch and Hindy interviewed the Maroons as part of the network's Origin special. They do it each year, and for the most part, it's hilarious when they're making jokes or poking fun at things within the game.
KJE06 purple number plates.
They went a bit too far.
The Suzuki written on the number plates.
Here are just a few
Light
questions
blue
they
colour.
asked the players.
4-door hatch, green P-plater.
Reasons to get a divorce.
Driving like an absolute idiot, breaking the law.
Yep. It's just spelling money. And time. Things you pay for by the hour. Go. That's it. Name 3 places you find cellulite. Go. Name 3 couples on Instagram. Go. Ben. Far out. Name 3 female body parts. Name 3 ways to earn sex. Hunting. 3 reasons why you get diarrhea.
Now again, it's a bit of tongue-in-cheek, but we have rounds dedicated to women to celebrate how far we've become as a game. We support women in sport with more professional opportunities, more pathways on and off the field. The NRLW is going from strength to strength. Game 2 of the Women's Origin is completely sold out in Newcastle next week. We celebrate the women who are so often the backbone of our sport. As a game and as a society, we are trying to move past the misogyny that we are so often labelled with. But all too often, it's 2 steps forward and 3 steps back. These NRL players are young men, impressionable young men that are often mislabelled as silly boys and the old not too bright.
No right, hassling
which I
people
don't
like
tend
that.
to agree with all the time. So the questions about how to earn sex and questions about cellulite and questions about who you'd swing with and questions about why you would get divorced are not only stupid, Fletch and Hindy, but they're risky. And in my opinion, they're setting these boys up for failure. It puts them in an awkward and uncomfortable position of taking part in a conversation that we are so badly trying to stamp out. We know that if they say something wrong, it will upset those desperate to be outraged, and then these boys will find themselves stood down and out of the game they love. Do you honestly think that Andrew Abdo and Peter V'landys would have sat there and listened to those questions and been comfortable? I doubt it. And look, I get that the show was aired late, it's for adults only. But these players are idolised not by adults, by children. And do you think those questions were appropriate for children? No, they weren't. Do you reckon they'd ask their wives and partners those very same questions on camera? I doubt it. And the interview is all over social media, so it's easy to find. I very much doubt that Billy Slater would have been overly impressed by it all, because I know how Billy operates. I've been in the last 2 camps. It's all about manners and family first. Fox Sports, Fletch and Hindy, you put the players at risk. Your questioning was out of order and it's out of date. You got this one very wrong. Siobhan Fay, good morning.
Good morning, Leeds. Making news this hour. A 33-year-old man is due in court today charged with grievous bodily harm in relation to an alleged stabbing on the Fraser Coast. Former US President Donald Trump has confirmed he will be appealing his criminal conviction for falsifying business records. He labelled the trial as a scam and very unfair. Police are investigating after a social media post ranking female students from a Gold Coast school was uploaded online. Pupils from Foxwell State Secondary College were reportedly ranked in offensive categories including one-night stand and unbreakable. And at least 2 Brisbane to Perth flights have been cancelled. It comes after a number of international and domestic flights were delayed or cancelled at the West Australian Airport following an issue with delivering fuel to aircraft. In sport, the Waratahs have lost to the Reds 27-26 in their final game of their horrific Super Rugby season, and Figs will have more news again at 11.
Did you know that respiratory syncytial virus, or RSV, is not just a childhood illness? Adults can catch it too throughout their lives. Similar to other respiratory infections, a cough or sneeze can easily spread RSV. Though often mild, RSV infection can be serious. Older adults may experience severe complications compared with younger adults. For more information about RSV, talk to your healthcare professional. Sponsored by GlaxoSmithKline Australia Proprietary Limited, Melbourne.
It's 28 minutes to 11. Brisbane top of 22. Ipswich 21 degrees. Logan 21 degrees. Manly 23 degrees. The Gold Coast a top of 23 degrees. The gorgeous Sunshine Coast 24 degrees. Toowoomba 16 degrees. We're going to get your calls and feedback after the break. I'll also have my local issues. Don't have to use the Uber app. Don't worry. You can now request an Uber ride over the phone. That's right, no app required. And it sounds weird to us too. Simply call 13 Uber. That's 13 82 37 to speak to an Uber booking agent and get started. Plus, Uber is giving new riders $50 off their first trip. Just quote the promo code Radio50 when you call, and the Uber agent will take care of the rest. And with 13 Uber, you can order an Uber straight away or reserve a ride up to 90 days in advance. Remember, 13 Uber and quote Radio50 for $50 off your first ride. Call from a mobile. Offer ends 11:59 on PM July 6, 2024. Only applicable for first Uber trips on all products except Uber Pool.
Queensland Theatre presents the multi-award-winning play, Cost of Living. Does love have a bottom line? Pulitzer Prize winner Martina Marchok's Cost of Living explores the universal need for care, told with humour, wit and enormous art. Directed by Priscilla Jackman and Dan Dorr, starring the legendary Kate Hood and Olivier Award-winning Philip Quast. Cost of Living is on now until July 13 at the Bill Brown Theatre. Tickets available at queenslandtheatre.com.au.
For top shelf mates or 10 bug mates,
down, then knock everything off, and we need to start again. We're going to have this conversation.
It's 2 steps forward, 3 steps back, Marcus. As a father of a young fella, would you be happy for him to sit down and listen to those questions?
Absolutely not, Peter. Absolutely not. He's got 2 sisters, probably still a mother, and to hear that sort of stuff, and he goes to high school, and that's the last thing we need him to be exposed to at this stage of his life. So, as you said, mate, 2 steps forward, 3 steps back. It's just not acceptable today.
Good on you, Marcus. I completely agree with you. Thanks for your call this morning. I'd love to get your take on it. 133 is the open line number. And I want to stress again, I'm not being the PC police here, and I'm not being the fun police. I'm simply calling out poor behaviour and incorrectly reading the room. And I think Fletch and Hindy should be ashamed of the way that they conducted themselves at Maroons at Suncorp Stadium. And I would love to get Billy Slater's take on it. I know that he'll probably talk during the week, and it may be raised, or this may be swept over. I'm not sure. But I got to say, I didn't laugh. There were points of it where I thought, yeah, it's a little bit funny. I've always thought Fletch and Hindy are out of jokes anyway. I think they've been a bit boring for the last few years. For the most part, they're pretty funny, but it's pretty simple comedy. A lot of it they're ripping off from other people, and I just thought that it was just out of line. I don't know. Maybe I'm slowly turning into these boomers that people keep telling me I am. I'm not sure. 133-882 is the open line number.
What's making waves in your suburb? Peter Fegan tackles the local issues.
Who raised issues off the back of their local council and taking care of nature strips and the local parks. So we thought, who better to bring into the conversation than the red tape buster? And I've always said that this is Australia's answer to Mythbusters. Shane Bowring, good morning and welcome back.
G'day, mate. How are you?
I'm very well. How have you been, first and foremost?
Fabulous, mate. Always fabulous. We've been, the last couple of months, writing 1 million grants and tenders for clients, and we've been hammered, but it's been good.
Well, it's good to have you back on the program. I want to ask you, I'll probably dob myself in here, but mowing the nature strip or mowing outside the fence line, is it our responsibility or is it the council's responsibility?
Look, in my view, and this is just my view, it's council's responsibility. It's council land, their responsibility. We might do it on their behalf, and that's okay. There's nothing wrong with that. And look, to me, if you waited for council to come and mow your footpath, you're probably going to be waiting for 50,000 years, and your lawn will be overgrown and up to the fence line, top of the fence, and you won't be able to see your house. But legally, my view is that, and I'm not a solicitor, but legally I would think that it's council responsibility. Council say, on their websites and everything, that the footpath is their land. And you can do things on it, like, you can mow, there's no dramas about that. If they put a tree on your footpath, you can help water it and keep it alive, and they actually encourage you to do that. But at the end of the day, that's their land. We can look after it. That's okay.
Darren, Shane, I want to play you Darren's audio he's from Ipswich. Have a listen to this. This is from last week. I'd love to get your take on it.
I've had at least 6 council letters to the council. They put in this huge, I've got a bike path where women and their prams go down behind my fence. I'm on acreage out here at Karalee. I spend 2 hours every 3 weekends mowing their lawn at $30 worth of petrol. I've been doing it for 10 years. And they won't do anything on the other side of the bike path. I've had 3 brown snakes already in the last 3 months come out of there. My dog's had a $2,000 bite out of that bushland, and they just won't do anything about it.
There you go, Shane. The council doing little about things that people are calling up about.
Fucking car space,
Yeah, look, and that happens. My strong suggestion would be go and meet with your local councillor. That's their job. That's what you elected them for, is to take on your issues to represent them to council. So go and talk to them. Also contact your local mayor. Remember that
the conditions.
The administration side of council is separate to the councillors and the mayor. So the administration side of council, the people who, you know, take your calls and things like that, they work for council, they're staff. But they don't have any skin in the game. At the end of the day, they're not going to get voted in or voted out in their job. They're just going to tell you the council line. And, you know, the council line is, you know, oh, we'll get to it, or maybe we won't get to it and we won't do anything. Talk to your local councillor, they're your rep, complain to them, complain to the mayor. If you can find the mayor's email address online, which you should be able to, email them and say this isn't good enough. You want action, and other people in the area have got similar concerns, and the more people you can get on board with your issue rather than just one person having a problem. If you've got 50 people who've got the same problem, they'll do something. There's a problem with 50 voters. They don't really care about one, I suppose, at the end of the day. Talk to those people.
He's Australia's answer to Mythbusters. He's the red tape buster, Shane Bowring. It's great to have him back on the program. Shane, listen to this. We had a guest on last month who was having issues with council taking responsibility for a large tree overhanging his roof. I must give credit to Zarisha Bradley from A Current Affair who brought us this story. He had 8 separate arborists come and say it was council land, but the council threw their hands up in the air. Can you talk us through what rules and processes are around those situations? Because it's pretty common.
It is very common. And going to A Current Affair and talking to people like you, Pete, is a very good way to get some action. But again, talk to your councillor, talk to your mayor, get them to take action and explain why. If you've got 8 arborists saying that tree is a problem, then council should take action. The other thing that need to be aware of, and again, I'm not a lawyer, I don't give legal advice, but the Civil Liability Act actually states, my understanding is that if council, a tree or something has been reported to council that council or a government agency needs to take action on, and they have the time and the resources to respond, and they don't, and some damage occurs, so say this tree falls over on your property after you've complained about it, my understanding is that council is responsible.
Good on you, Shane. We'll be catching up with you. Oh, sorry, I've just cut you off. Just before we let you go, on the topic of trees, you had a case in the past couple of weeks.
To get it resolved because that's a dangerous issue, obviously road safety, and they will generally take action. It will be pretty quick.
Good on you, Shane. We'll catch up with you in the future, hopefully get you on about fortnightly. Thank you for jumping on today. We really appreciate it.
Thanks, Pete. Thanks, mate.
There he is, Shane Bowring. He's our Mythbuster. We'll get him in fortnightly. If you have any questions, send them in to me on 0499 880 882 or email me at weekends@4bc.com.au.
Traffic. Listen to Money News Monday to Thursday night from 7 on 4BC.
There's a breakdown on the Gateway Motorway in Belmont. It's about a kilometre before Old Cleveland Road. No delays. There's been an accident though along the off-ramp from the Gateway Motorway onto Woodland Road in Tingalbridge northbound. There are minor delays there, and the contact a multi-vehicle crash on Elizabeth Avenue at Jewett Street is creating heavy conditions southbound from Cornelia Street down to the Houghton Highway Bridge. Oxley Road, by the way, is heavy both ways through Chelmer and Graceland. I'm Peter Gooch on Brisbane's 4BC.
Love it when you tell your friends about something you've heard on 4BC. But they can hear it too. Download the podcast and catch up at 4bc.com.au.
9 Radio is currently playing content that cannot be played on our online streams. Normal programming will resume shortly. Good health is one another. And at Bupa, we're helping it spread around Australia by helping our almost 4 million members live healthier, whatever that looks like for them. Because every time they do, someone else will too. Join Bupa for award-winning health insurance and feel good health catch on.
Some people might think that funerals are there purely to farewell those who have passed on, but the fact is, funerals are really for the living. The partners, the families and the friends who are all mourning for the loss of someone incredibly special to them. At Alex Gow, we believe that funerals represent an opportunity to gather, pay your respects, show how much you care, and offer love and support at a time when people need it most.
Alex Gow Funerals, bringing families together since 1840.
At Coles, there's great value hands down across fruit and veg this week, like delicious 100% Queensland grown Hass avocados, just $1.30 each. Get great value hands down at Coles. Offer ends Tuesday.
Congratulations, Australia! You are waking up to waste on car insurance. Like Maddie, who saved a bootload with Compares the Market.
I switched and saved over $300. Every dollar counts these days.
But some are still asleep at the wheel. Like Ida, who hasn't compared for years. Not good enough.
Fuck off, cunt.
No, you're idling.
Fuck off.
Switching car insurance is easy.
You have no fucking right, buddy. No fucking right.
Brands and products we compare.
Simple.
You're listening to Weekends on 4BC, thanks to Eureka Furniture, a family
Fuck off.
of 38 years, delivering
Push yourself fucking in my lane, cunt.
furniture to Australian homes.
That guy on the motorbike would have smashed into me, coming up through the side of me.
Criticising me or not, this one is Simon's texting. He says, Peter, what the heck, mate? Criticising Fletch and Hindy. You should join the woke brigade. Leave them alone. What they're doing is silly, harmless fun. It caters to us mentally 10-year-old lads and our sense of humour. I find them highly entertaining. If you don't,
well,
like
fucking
it,
get
change
up
the
there.
I didn't watch it in the first place.
Get the
Simon.
fuck up there.
I challenged you to come on the program and debate with me about it, but you didn't answer your phone. You said you didn't want to come on. You do it via text. You're a bigger part of the problem than everybody else is, Simon.
It's called a fucking
if
indicator.
You think it's having a bit of fun, then you're just as bad. Because we've moved on from all that crap. We've moved on from it. And I'm not woke. I'm sensible. That's all it is here, being sensible. And what they did was out of line. The questioning was out of line. And they set up younger players. And you even hear Paddy Carrigan questioning, what are we doing here? So, Simon, I apologise that you think I'm woke, but you didn't have the guts to come on and argue the point with me on the program.
No indication,
so anyway,
nothing. Just
I've got Nell here that says, Peter, I can't believe that Fox Sports interviews, the questions were inappropriate. Fox should be ashamed of itself. Role models, I don't think so. Good on you, Nell. Mel, I completely agree with you. Let's get back onto the topic of this town's traffic jam, the bullfed that is Troy Thompson. Now, this bloke has been caught out lying about his military service. He's been caught out lying about his university degree. The journalist that brought you the story is Reece D'Alessandro from A Current Affair. I also have Wes Hennessy, who is a former SAS commando, a war hero to this country. Reece, beginning with you, good morning.
Good morning to you, Pete.
And Wes, good morning to you.
No, that must be that motorbike guy.
Have we got Wes? I think we've got Wes there. Sorry, Wes, good morning to you as well.
Good morning, mate. How are you?
Very well. Reece, I want to start with you. You've been doing this a long time. We've worked together for a long time.
But it's out everywhere.
You're left shaking your head after some interviews, but you're also fed some great grabs. What did you make of this bloke?
I mean, he sounded pretty genuine in his apology.
He'll squeeze. That motorbike will squeeze up between traffic going up the hill.
It's pretty hard to lead a garrison city with that sort of cloud hanging over your head in terms of your so-called military history. I think perhaps what people aren't buying is his
well, fuck off! Fuck off! Fuck off! They call fucking brakes, motherfucker, for a reason.
Concussions over the course of his life.
Hey, get the fuck back!
Not an excuse, but he is going to forget things from time to time, and he's forgetting that service number.
Hey, get the fuck back, motherfucker!
In Townsville, as it was,
But you'll fucking have me to deal with it, motherfucker.
Charges on the Gold Coast, which he didn't seem to recall at the time of the interview, but later clarified.
Yeah. So to indicate now, buddy.
More than an hour on the Strand. As you know, the Strand's a pretty popular spot for locals. Plenty of people along the Strand, particularly in the morning. We spent more than an hour there talking to people about how they felt about their new mayor, and we did not
fuck do throw.
One single person had a positive thing to say about him.
Well, Reece, you are a proud North Queenslander, and before we get to Wes Hennessy, fancy someone trying to pull the wool over the eyes of people from Townsville in the largest garrison city in Australia by lying about military service. Bubbling away for a long time. There are many people who have been in Townsville making noise about the fact that there is something not right about those claims, and that's literally why we asked
to interview the mayor, we put in a request with his office to say, look, if you'd like to tell your side of the story, if you'd like to offer your point of view, we're going to give you an ear to be able to do that, and that's exactly what we did. Now, for some reason, the mayor feels as though he hasn't
I knew he'd do that up here in front of all those cars.
Seems to think that we've written a negative story about him, and we've been unfair in our effectively cutting down of that very lengthy interview. But I've got to say, things, I was pretty surprised to sort of see that accusation from the mayor. We literally, as I said, canvassed every issue from his military service history to his past business dealings to that attempted fraud charge on the Gold Coast to his university degree, and we heard every one of those issues and his defence or explanation to those issues. So yeah, I've got to say that I've been hard done by. Response from the mayor in the day following that is a pretty surprising one.
Reece, if you don't mind just hanging on the line, there's one more question I want to ask you. I want to go now to Wes Hennessy. Reece, if you don't know Wes, he's a war hero. I'm sure you know him. He served a number of times overseas. For 20 years he fought for this country. Wes Hennessy, I want to ask you first and foremost, someone lying about their military credentials is not only insulting to you, but it should be illegal.
Troy Thompson, I'll say, he's a grub. Troy Thompson has been manipulated, highlighted.
Please like and subscribe. He's going through traffic again. Not that I'm chasing him.
Feelings of a garrison town.
I don't know where he went right or left.
Not good enough. I don't know. That's absolutely bloody rubbish. There is not a person ever been in the military who would not remember their service record.
Soon to tell. We'll go down this hill. Fuck off. Stupid bitch. Get in the right fucking lane. You too. Fuck off.
So he's flagged SASR to try and get himself some
dumb fucking bitch.
He's flagged his duration to try and give himself more kudos, and he's done this knowingly to manipulate the large amount of persons who would be sympathetic to whatever better term.
Bitches. That person come around the corner, then going over that fucking lane, but was in this lane.
And now what we just heard after that,
sitting up my ass.
the
What right have people got? This bitch behind me sitting up my ass too, in a little white Hyundai. At the same time, put lipstick on. 6 car lengths is the legal limit. You're supposed to stay behind someone. No more. They're on the roads today.
Great politicians, ex-military politicians, and we've got one in particular in council, Phil Thompson, who's doing a great job.
About to get another one
other senior members in Parliament now, and then you've got a mayor. So these people are taking us 2 steps forward, and then you've got a mayor that takes us a couple of steps back. I mean, there's just no reason whatsoever to lie about your military history to gain some political kudos, which is exactly what he's done. I do not subscribe to any of the excuses. I do not subscribe to the apology, and I do not subscribe that he is unwilling with this to not gain votes from that city. That's just absolute rubbish. So.
Before I let both of you go, Reece, I want to ask you one last question. I've got about 40 seconds. Megan Scanlon, what was the response from her to you?
So look, at this stage, she's telling us essentially she's going to wait to see some of the outcomes of these investigations. We know that the CCC is now investigating this guy, and how powerful also just to hear Wes's thoughts there on the mayor's explanations as to what's unfolded here. I think that's a really important point of view to hear. But look, at this stage, the local government minister, she's, I think, going to see how these various investigations into Troy Thompson play out before she takes any firm action. But even before that, Fegs, every single one of his councillors in Townsville is opting to go with a vote of no confidence council meeting, which is
glad that motorbike guy's gone.
The local government minister even has the chance to take any action anyway. Pretty hard to see how a mayor can lead a city without the support of his council.
Exactly. Good on both of you guys. Thank you so much. I've got to take off, got to get to the news. Appreciate both of your times this morning. Reece D'Alessandro and Wes Hennessy.
9 Radio is currently playing content that cannot be played on our online streams. Normal programming will resume shortly. To check out the latest 9 Radio content, head to 2GB, 4BC, 3AW or 6PR online and click on the audio tab. There you'll find full show podcasts from Australia's best radio broadcasters, plus daily highlights and interviews to stream or download.
G'day, Paul Gallon. For years Ben has raved about the Spinalese pillow, so I finally tried it for myself and I'm sold. The new Spinalese Premium Support Pillow is like sleeping on air. I love it and you will too. Order yours today at spinaleze.com.au.
Is this just vague plan to start a podcast? Not so reliable. Telstra Home Internet, reliable. With our 30-day satisfaction guarantee, Telstra Home Internet is more reliable than family. Find out more in-store or online at Telstra. For new Telstra Home Internet customers, T&Cs apply.
After 150 shows last season, for a taste of America, Brisbane this June and July. The global Irish music and dance sensation returns to Brisbane, Redcliffe, Cleveland, Logan and Ipswich as part of its world tour featuring stars direct from local bands in one powerhouse event. Now, at a tasteofirelandshow.com.
Well, everybody, I'll be ending the stream in a few minutes. Please like and subscribe. I think I got it on the other lens.
You have the power to get rid of this grub, and you need to do it ASAP.
Well, that's even closer, though.
133 882 is the open line number, or send me a text 0499880882. News is up in 10
Thanks
seconds.
for being with me on this driving stream. It turned out to be no drag racing. It's cancelled. Watching this on the replay, please like and subscribe.
Previous bulletin of flight cancellations on the west coast, charges laid over alleged stabbing, and Trump vows to...
Okay, Trisha, I'll catch up with you later. Frank, everybody else. Clifton Life King. Cliff didn't pop in this time. Take care, everybody. Catch us later.
Brisbane this morning, a spokesperson is advising passengers to contact their airline. A man has suffered a significant abdominal wound after he was allegedly stabbed on the Fraser Coast. Emergency services were called around 9:15 last night to a home in Torquay. He was transported to hospital in a serious condition, with a 33-year-old man charged over the incident. And if you or anyone you know is suffering from domestic or family violence, contact 1-800-RESPECT. Donald Trump has vowed to repair his conviction that day after